Greetings. This is Jamal Toure. We are here. We're supposed to have two guests, but we've been running into technical issues with regards to our guests being able to log on. And I guess Sister CT, that is Julie Brannon, in addition to Bride Grant from Geechee Kunda. And what's will be happening tonight, or my objective, what I want to occur tonight, this evening, is for us to deal with the medicine fade, and medicine fade, Medsin. And what is medicine fade? And oh, excuse me, fade, Fey. Medicine fade means herbal knowledge. It's about our traditions, things that we did with regards to culture and history. We are not giving medical advice, but what we were going to be doing is providing with regards to traditional practices of our people, with regards to health and maintenance of health, and also give some of the other, I would say, some of the more fanciful traditions of our people. And one of the things that throughout the folks, which I was going to do, is just see if people know about this. If a snapping turtle, or some people call an alligator snapping turtle, if an alligator snapping turtle bites your finger or bites a part of you, when will that snapping turtle finally release you? Part of our tradition. When will the snapping turtle let you go? And so that's what I want to mess with people about that and see if people know about that and part of that tradition. With regards to, again, wait a minute. That's Brian Gregg in the house.
I will be here.
Brian Gregg, welcome to Run Tell That. Glad to have my brother. Cause let y'all know it. Now everybody let y'all know what's going on. Geechee Kunda in the house, baby. Geechee Kunda in the house. Riceboro in the house. Better understand. Liberty County in the house tonight. So I got my brother Brian Gregg of Geechee Kunda, one of the historians of Geechee Kunda, but not just historian, one of the herbal geniuses of Geechee Kunda, cultural geniuses of Geechee Kunda, and also genealogists. Now, what I tell folks is, some of y'all doing your genealogy, listen here. Brian Gregg is one of the men, one of the people that make it happen. Brian Gregg will make sure, excuse me, he can find a way that all of us connected, all of us
Yeah,
related,
we're gonna be kin.
able to do that. Brother, glad to have you here.
Yep.
And as I had shared with them, that I wanted to give them some thing about the medicine, the herbal knowledge of our people, the medical, the medicinal practices, traditions of our people, that we're not giving medical advice, but just giving some of the traditions and some of the more even fanciful, elements with regards to our story of our people.
Right.
And so I threw out the first thing I threw out the number, I said that do you know how if an alligator snapping turtle bites you, when will that alligator snapping turtle let you go? When will the turtle no longer will release the grip on you? And I
You
want
want me
to,
to? You want me to tell them?
huh?
You want me to answer? You waiting for them to answer?
Uh, I was hoping some of them might be able to answer, but then these churn here, you need these newfangled churn here, so they all know. So you can go ahead and let them know, brother. So yes, let them know how we doing this right here.
You better look outside and see if it's clouding up and wait for that thunder to come.
It's an add-on to it. What gotta happen? Kapow! It gotta be some lightning. Now he said
Yeah,
that
that lightning, that thunder.
when lightning strike, that's when that turtle will finally release you. And see again, that's a part of our story. That's a part of our culture, our history. That again, I want folks to know this is what we're gonna be dealing with and talking about tonight, giving some of our traditions. And so, Brad Gregg, I want you to let the people know who you are, where you from, and again, the things that you do because you've done a lot of accomplishments. For some of y'all, if you know that I just Brad Gregg in the history moments that we do in WSAV years ago, because again, he's an all round. He's holistic with regards to everything. So yes, sir, brother. I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, like when I tell people I'm from Savannah, normally I'm talking about only one place, and that is in between Stevens and Bullock Street on 46, right there in front of Can Park. So Can Park is in the house.
That's right.
And so, I left from there, went into the military. people ask a lot of times, how long did I stay in? I only stayed in 3 years, 11 months, 26 days, and 14 hours. And I wasn't counting. So, and I am also not only a graduate of the school system of Savannah, but I am also a graduate of the Marsh. I am a graduate. Back then it was SSC. We'll give them the credit now, SSU. So, hey, I am a pure hometown person. And I have traveled quite a bit across the country. One of the things that I have done is that a lot of people do not realize that I am an archer. I'm a championship archer. I'm a 9-time state of Georgia champion. I'm a 4-time Southeast regional champion. I'm a 1-time national champion, and I came in 7th in the world once. So I have shot a bow and arrow a couple of days. And from there, I have been taught and given the interest of the herbal medicine basically through my mother.
Okay.
A good old country girl from Bullock County, and her thing was know what's around you. And I never could understand why I always remembered things that we had to take. And one of the things I'll ask is anyone, and this is one of your favorites, if you have a persistent cough, what did the ancestors do for you?
And brother, we're gonna save that for a second. Because we now got Sister Siti in the house, Sister
Yep.
Siti in the house, the Sister Julie Brannen in the house, Sister Siti. And again, like I say, get your Kunta in the house tonight, baby. Get your Kunta. That's right. No, so that's why I say this family time right here, and family giving you herbal knowledge, medicinal practices, holistic medicine, all that, and then having some fun with the God. Like I said, I had already asked them I threw it up with them because some of these newfangled churn here, these newfangled churn don't know about. I had asked them if an alligator snapper turtle bites on you or get a part of you, when will it finally release you? Bride Greg threw the answer out there. And so I let him introduce himself. So now it's my sister. We're going to turn it over to you, let you introduce yourself to the audience, and then we're going to start rolling with regard to y'all knowledge. So we have our sister.
Peace and love, everyone. Family. Good to see all of you. I'm Sister Siti right here, Geechee Gullah, Savannah, Georgia, all my life. Today we're talking about some things that are very important. I've been with natural healing since 1977. I started studying the life of Gandhi, and it made me change my whole way of eating. Recently, 2020, we've been experiencing something that has changed our whole ways of thinking. And we're just here to share with you. I'm a graduate, Fort Valley State University, studied natural healing under Dr. Ferrante Frazier right here in Savannah, Georgia. I'm a holistic health consultant, vegan, vegetarian, and macrobiotic chef. I used to float in many, many restaurants in Orlando, Florida, bringing healing through food to families. So I consider it an honor being here tonight with my family here, Brother Toure and Red Feather, all of us representing Geechee Gullah traditions. Thank you very much for having me.
Glad to have you. But
Yep.
Bride Greg,
Always.
she had to throw in about Fort Valley. She had to throw that Fort Valley in there. She had to
Absolutely.
throw in you know, do that, Bride Greg. So why I'm gonna throw it out there, Mr. Siti, I'm glad you said that. I was just want to throw it out there. Why do y'all think natural healing is important to us? And I'll start with you, Sister Siti, then go to you, Bride Greg, and then we're going to be flowing into some of the practices itself. So again, why is natural healing important to us in this day and this time, just in general with regards to our lives?
Natural healing is important to us because if we're wanting to receive any healing, it's going to come through our hands. I've been reading a book called The Cure is in the Cupboard. And that's where the cure is. Our ancestors knew it. Whenever there was an ailment, they went out to nature to retrieve that had a carbon footprint. Dr. Sebi talked about it. Things that have a carbon footprint that makes the body recognize that it brings healing. If we're going to be healed, it's only going to be because we are obedient and we're lining up with nature. And one thing we must remember is the earth has made a commitment to us to keep us healthy, healed, and whole. We have failed on our end of the commitment. We haven't been protecting Mother Earth. And it's now time to return there.
Yep.
Powerful statement. Powerful statement. Yes, it's got me. I want to ask some questions on some other things. So, Brian Gray, we're going to turn it over to you. What's your perspective with regard to that?
Going along with my sister, the reason why it works is because if for no other reason, then it's natural. There's nothing artificial in it. Everything that we need to protect ourselves is out in the woods. The only thing that we have to do is go back and to learn what we have lost. We are a lost people when it comes to healing ourselves. And you know for a fact that how many times have I told or I have mentioned that one of the biggest things to help us to stay healthy is one, to increase the amount of water that we drink and to ensure that our intestines are flushed. That is one of the first steps right there. And then you have all the other natural ingredients to go along with that. It should be footsteps away, but we live in an environment now where everything is being scraped away, and the only thing that you have left is some concrete. And I haven't seen anybody get well from eating concrete. And as a matter of fact, for people who have rodents, one of the things they tell you to do is to put flour out, and inside of that flour is to mix some powdered concrete. Why? What happens is once that rodent eats that flour and the concrete gets into his system and it gets moist, what happens to moist concrete? So concrete is not going to save us. We got to go back to the woods.
Okay, Bob. You just gave out a pesticide, a pesticide with regards to that. Again, tradition with regards to this. And so now I want to ask y'all, what are some of the, we're going to delve further with regards to what are some of the essential herbs that you all think that people need to have in their life, on a daily basis, if not daily, then on a weekly basis. What are some of the herbs and what are some of the things? And Brian Greg, you threw it out there about with regards to water. What are some of the things that we need to have with regards to for us to have a health maintenance with regards to our life? We start with you, Brian Gray, then go to Sister CT.
Okay, one of the things with me with water, everybody wants to know, well, how much is the right amount of water I should be drinking? Take your body weight, divide it in half, turn that into ounces. That's your water.
Okay.
I weigh 240 pounds. I should be drinking 120 ounces of water a day. 120 ounces is just a little over a half a gallon. So, keeping myself flushed.
Okay.
I am guilty. I'm just as guilty as everybody else. I do not do it all the time. And when I don't, you pay for it. It's just the reverse of eating hot peppers. Everybody say, no, I don't want to eat hot peppers because when I go to the bathroom, okay, when you don't drink water, what happened to you when you go to the bathroom? So I'll just leave it at that. I'll keep it nice.
Okay. Christy, what are some of the things that we need to have or fibers we need to have in our life, with regards to us being healthy, that you take on a daily basis or at least on a weekly basis?
On a daily basis, sunshine. More important than anything. A lot of us Try to stay out of the sun when we know that we need vitamin D. Of course, you can
Now,
get vitamin D in a pill form, but sunshine more than anything.
sister, why are
Recently,
we called? That's the reason why we are called children of the sun.
absolutely, absolutely. As much as we can, sit out in the sun, let it shine with your eyes closed for 30 minutes. Turn your back to the sun, let it shine right here on the back of your neck. So your lymph nodes are receiving that. All of that's about receiving, detoxing the body. I know that I used to take a whole lot of herbs and potions because I read everything in a book. Everything is not for everyone. I found that out recently. But on a daily basis, raw food, juicy fruits, grapes, oranges, grapefruit, water, those superfoods, watermelon, juicy fruits, pineapple, on a daily basis, we can live live food that brings about life.
Yep.
I, I,
And
I'm I'm loving it. Go ahead.
yep, and taking it a little further, like she said, there's certain things, like there's certain herbs that people have in their house. If you have turmeric in your house and you have swelling in your joints, turmeric is excellent for adding to everything. I even add turmeric to my coffee when I'm making it. It helps with reducing inflammation. One of the other things that's a little bit harder to find if you don't know what you're looking for, and one of the things I will tell anyone, if you are considering going into the woods to look for herbs, make sure you know what you're looking for. Make sure you know how to identify uh, plants. Just like there are many plants there that are there to heal us, there are equally number of plants who will take us away from here if you do not know what you're looking for. And sometimes less than being taken away is someone who may get that three-leaf plant that a lot of people don't understand. And the three-leaf plant is a lot of people in the fall of the year, and we used to always, once we got the big pile of leaves and we burning, we would jump back and forth through the smoke. But if you had that three-leaf plant in there and you inhaled that smoke of the burnt of this three-leaf plant, then you had poison ivy of the lungs. And calamine lotion, you're not going to get inside your lungs to keep it clean. So you have to be very careful about what you're doing. So, I mean, I always keep peppermint tea. Peppermint tea is good for my stomach for to help soothe it. Now, I have seen where a lot of people say the peppermint tea is very good for adults, but it is too strong for babies. So for babies, you give them spearmint. So it is still in that same family. Peppermint is something that we always used to have around the house. And one of the things also in keeping with something we should do every day is that how many people have a garden?
Mm.
How many people have if nothing else, but a pot? How many people are trying to establish community gardens?
Mhm.
And if nothing else, take the seeds from plants, and when you're walking down the street, put those seeds in the neighborhood. So when you're walking down the street, you can pick an orange, you can pick a banana. And people say, well, in Savannah, I know for a fact you can grow oranges and bananas. You can grow
Absolutely.
tangerines and lemons. So these are plants, okay, and I know for a fact you got plums there. And
Yes.
on the corner of 47th and Bullock, right across from the old Reverend, what's the minister's name? Anyway, it's a white house on the corner. They used to have pomegranate trees in there because we used to go steal them out of the yard. back in the day. But there are plants that we have that are very good and healthy for us that we could be growing that nobody knows anything about nowadays. So grow the fruit ourselves, have our own gardens. That way we don't have the leafy green vegetable deserts in our communities when we have our own that we could be growing ourselves.
Well, tagging on with that, we do have a garden on Rosemont Hill, several gardens. There are 4 of them, community gardens. We grew lots of broccoli, cauliflower, collard greens, mustards, hibiscus. All of that was in the garden. Our people are finding it strange recently to return to gardening. The gardens are there, help is needed. Collard greens, mustard greens. Sure, it takes a little work, but those were our staples. That's what we grew up on: live food, fresh from the garden.
Exactly.
And there's also a garden out in Port Wentworth. It's called I don't remember the name, but the brothers he has a festival every year, Collard Green Festival.
Out in Acres.
What is it called?
Well, in fact, it's in Monty, and what they're doing right now, they even were saying on the weekends, folks can come out there and get the greens, so they're even doing it. And so, what you call my Sister CT, in fact, I went over there when the Garden City Homestead Association, when they now gave out some of the collard greens and other greens, and then Sister Belinda Baptiste, oh my God, from Unforgettable Bakery, made a had slamming greens. I told her she got inside her restaurant. And so, but again, it was just like Rosemont Hill there with regards to the Garden City Homestead Association. Now, to share this with you all and show you how all this is flowing. See, because we started having our live guests with Sister Candace Monroe, had her on. Then we had Brother Aunt Maven. Then we had Sister Daniela, Child. Then we had Chef BJ Dennis, Chef Farmer BJ Dennis, and Chef Farmer Quasi. And so again, that's what we were talking about. And see now we have you all coming on because I discussed COVID last week, and y'all throwing out there because that topic, run tell that. That's what it's about. Because we were supposed to run and tell and provide this information. Because again, you all doing the things that's all consistent with what we're saying. And so that's why I'm listening to you. And see, Sister CT, I was going to jump in you because when you were talking about, say, these juicy fruits, because our board member, Tanya Howard Hall, she talked about juicy fruits. And then Brother Dom, he also threw it out there. I'm just going to say, I was about to get on you if you ain't say no boneless ham. But you have boneless ham. You have said watermelon. Because Brad Greg, I was about to jump. Tell folks that's what we love. And then I gotta say this, Sister CT, one of your homegirls, Tanya Scott Pelcher, she had to throw out there about Fort Valley. She had to throw that out there Fort Valley.
Absolutely, Tanya.
Hey, Jamal, let me answer.
You can't mention Fort Valley without saying Tanya Scott Pilcher.
Mike, you asked the question. I am working on that right now. And I have to be kind of careful with what I put in there. So that's the reason why that has been dragging. But yes, your suggestion is in the mill. I am working on that right now. Yeah.
And so with Bridegroom, Daniel, CT, and myself, one thing I want to say is we are not giving medical advice. We're going to be talking about traditions right now. We're going to start moving into that. I want to put it out there that again, but what you all have probably heard from us for the past 3 weeks on Run Tell that we're looking at things, natural things that need to be done that can help folks. And in fact, a couple of times, Brother Frazier chimed in on some of it last week. And so again, we are consistently saying this is about us maintaining health and part of traditions that we engage in, and that now we're going to move into the aspect of what are some of the things that people use? Like for example, I'm gonna throw something out there. People talking about elderberry, and people throwing elderberry and Irish moss. Why is that important? Because people talking about elderberry, because some people might not understand why they need to be focused on elderberry and Irish moss and long seed. So either one of y'all.
Okay, as a supplement. Okay, as a supplement, when this hit last year, there were two things that I went and got. Very one was at the time, there were no fresh elderberry around. So I got elderberry supplements. Elderberry is used to boost your immune system. The other thing that I obtained is a herb that you cannot take continuously like you do the elderberry. It is taken, I took 100 tablets and I stopped, and I only started taking my second 100 this year. And that is echinacea. Now, echinacea is a flower that you can have in your yard. You can have fresh echinacea. Once again, here we go to these gardens that we can have. But if you don't know what to plant and to grow, then I mean, I understand that but this is what this is about, that we're trying to enhance the knowledge. But the only thing that I have taken in the past year has been elderberry and echinacea, and both of those are used to boost the immune system. Now, there's another plant I mentioned a few minutes ago that a lot of people are probably city people are not aware of, and it's a plant that looks exactly like tobacco growing, and it's called mullein. Mullein, you can tell it's mullein because it has a velvet-like leaf. Some of them can grow 6, 7, 8 feet tall. The top has a seed pod of yellow flowers, and the leaves come out, like I say, in a velvet. Okay, that's the seed pod right there. Yes, that's the seed pod. Yeah. That particular plant not only can be taken as a tea for immune, but it is also used for swelling. And if you have pain, uh, it can be drank as a tea for relieving pain, or it can be chopped up into clay and made into a poultice that you can pack around a leg or a wound. I have heard of people who made a tea out of the mullein, took a towel, put in there, wringed out most of the water, and took that towel and put around the swollen area to relieve the pain.
Yes.
So there's plenty of things out there. We just have to go back to nature. It's one of the things I mentioned to Queen Quet on her Facebook page. We have to return to the earth.
Absolutely.
We have away from the mother who protects us. And one of the things people have to understand, the lone little honeybee. When the honeybee died, we gone. The honeybee can live without us, but we can't live without the honeybee.
Mm.
So this is how we have to look at that. And why not have a honey colony in the community?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I'll leave that one alone. I'll let my sister talk now.
That's right.
Well, that would be for Brother Obana, but he's over in the Gambia right now. Speaking of natural cures, natural herbs, I ran across something that I found very, very valuable, and it's called wild oregano oil. I know a lot of us are dealing with allergies around here. A few drops, maybe 4 drops at the most, of wild oregano oil in water can knock out sniffles, colds, sneezing, all of that comes along with seasonal, what may be seasonal allergies. And it's very, very, very powerful. Wild oregano oil can be used to disinfect, put it in a sprayer and clean the bathroom, just clean the air because of its antiseptic properties. There was a brother in Detroit, Dwight Carter. He introduced me recently to haritaki seeds. Haritaki seeds oxygenate the body. Also, chaga mushroom. Chaga mushroom grows on the birch trees in very cold climates. It's not easily accessible, but in the Soviet Union, The chaga is their form of coffee, and it helps to deal with cold weather. But it goes to war against certain types of. We're not making any medical claims, but check it out, chaga mushroom.
Mhm.
Recently, I had a diagnosis of COVID-19. Immediately, I put two crock pots on. One of them I had chaga mushroom along with maybe two haritaki seeds and sipping that all day. That's what I did most days, sipping that and eating juicy fruits, drinking water. And in the other crock pot, I had lemon and lime, and that I was drinking. I didn't add any sugar to it. Every now and then, I might have added some sea moss. The sea moss was able to, it dissolved right away. Those are the things that kept me going. Raw foods, haritaki, chaga mushroom, lemon and lime. And exercise. I got out in the sun. I jumped on my trampoline, dancing on the porch, whatever it took, kept my body moving. And the wild oregano. I had a little sniffle, took a few drops of that in water. You never want to just use wild oregano without, because it's very, very powerful. Those are herbs that I found to be lifesavers during 2020.
And great information that what you all have put out there. Brother Ferrante Frazier joined in, and then also Brother Thomas right there, Brother Mike Kelly, again, some ingredients. So what we are dealing with again the natural. What are the things that are part of what our ancestors were engaging in? Also, these practices. And Brother Greg, when you had talked about the mullet, you like absolutely, and you talked about planting it. Because guess what, Chef Quasi Brownlee, just to let y'all know, on the east side of the city of Savannah, off of Waters Avenue, that's what he did. He planted mullet. He just took some of the seeds and just scattered them about. That there are lanes right now here in Savannah that there are mullen plants, brother, because I know you say some of the urban people, the city people don't even recognize it. But
Yep.
guess what? Right now, on the east side of the Waters Avenue, that there are mullen plants over there that Quasi just went and planted the seeds and they came up. And in fact, I have some mullen plants at my mama house. I put it over at my mama house, and that's why I have this right here from that time period. So yeah, so that's a part of it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
with regards again, and what Sister Stacey is putting out there, that again, and even with allergies and Bride Grove, you have shared this before, people, that even honey, and then we talk about honey, localized honey that's from our area, helps with regards to allergies. And what was so funny to share this with you all was that I had discussed this with the sister, and the sister said, "Yeah, I take honey to help me with regards to my allergies." Her son was with her and said, I got allergies and you never did that for me. And she's like, I'm sorry. So but here it is. See what we got to we got to infuse it. So sometimes
Yep.
we have knowledge and we engage in it, but they don't even use it on our own children.
Right.
So I want to get into what were some of the things that you all remembered as children that was done with regard to say the medicinal practices, the medicine fee of our ancestors, of our people, that you all remember that you even see the greater value today with regard to some of the herbs and the plants and the practices.
Well, it's just like you were mentioning the honey, and one of the things that people have to realize that with allergies, normally the allergies is because of some plant in your neighborhood that is causing you to have this reaction. And one of the things I ask people is, and this goes back to my comment about we should all have a hive, a beehive in every community. Because when you go and get the honey, we're not talking about going to Kroger. We're not talking about going to Whole Food or going to Walmart to get honey. We're not talking about getting sous bee honey that's come from Minnesota or California. If you realize you're having this allergy because of something that's in the air in your community, who is the collector of that pollen that's in the community? That's your honeybee. When that honeybee takes that pollen back to the hive and it is converted into honey, and you sit there and you take a tablespoon of honey daily, basically, okay, if you go walking through the woods and you're bit by a rattlesnake, you go to the hospital, the first question they're going to ask you is what kind of snake bit you. And the reason for that is so they could give you the correct serum. Okay, there are so many germs in the air. Like I say, the biggest collector of the pollen of collecting all these germs is the bee. So when you take that tablespoon of honey every day, you're building up that immunity of that particular uh, oh gosh, that particular whatever's causing that causing the allergy in yourself, whatever the germ or the insect. So we have to keep doing that. Now, one of my favorite is that, and it has a little story. There's a particular plant that's very unique. It has 3 different leaves on the same plant. The very first leaf is like a single lobe. The second leaf would be a double lobe. The third leaf is a triple lobe. And all 3 of these leaves are on the tree at the very same time. That particular tree is called sassafras. Sassafras is, if anyone has ever had root beer, you have had a hint of the taste of sassafras. Now, sassafras is you get it from the root of the tree. Normally, you wait until December, late November, early January to dig the root. You do not dig up the whole plant. What happened with the goose with the golden egg and they killed the whole goose? You ended up with nothing. So you do not dig up the whole tree. You dig up pieces of the root. Any tea, and especially any herbal tea, please, please do not boil. You steep. A lot of herbal teas are destroyed because they cannot stand the heat. So you steep the tea and you drink it. And this is what you do with the sassafras. A lot of people will add a sweetener to it. What's the best sweetener? What did we just talk about? Honey.
Mm-hmm.
What were we talking about earlier? Lemon, lime. And if you can stand, now, I don't know how many people have eaten the grapefruit. And with the grapefruit on the inside of the rind is that white pith material. Do you know how bad that tastes? My dad used to eat that. Here we go. Natural medicine.
Okay.
But the sassafras is one of the things I definitely remember from growing up.
And just to throw it out to let people know, now today, sassafras is regulated. So we ain't tell y'all go get that sassafras or run tell that. We ain't tell y'all to run out there. It's regulated. So yes, but yeah, part of the medicine too, the herbal knowledge. So Sister Siti, we not go to you.
Say that again, Jamal. I didn't hear the last part of what you were saying.
Oh no, I said we not go to you. What were the things that you remember as a child? Again, that herbal experience as a child that you, as an adult, that you even have a greater appreciation for right now. What is that herb or that plant or that tradition of our people?
I remember cod liver oil. We always had to have cod liver oil at a certain time of year, and the cod liver oil made sure that you did not catch a cold during that whole winter period. But most importantly, I remember whenever we got sick, got a cold, anything happened, we were not kept home. We were sent to school, but before going to school, we had to stop by our grandmother's house right on Rosenau Hill, and she would lay hands on us, pray for us, ask us, do you have faith to believe that you can be healed? Yes, of course you're going to agree with your grandmother that you can be healed. Then she took this little piece of cloth, took a safety pin, pinned it under your clothes. You went to school, you were healed, nothing missing and nothing broken. We come from people who believed in the Almighty. We trust God for our healing. We realized that we had no fear, and we knew that our destiny was in the hand of the Almighty. And I want to sound the alarm right now. Run tell that all of you that we can still tap into that faith. We can still believe and trust in the natural herbs and the fruit and the seeds, everything that was put on earth for us. That healing is still here. There's no time to allow this pandemic to wreak havoc in your lives. Be careful, sure, wash your hands, wear the mask, but it's time for the women to wake up. Make sure your family are doing the proper things, eating healthy food. We can cook a delicious, nutritious meal, and we don't have to put all kind of animals in the pot.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when you were saying that, Sister CT, I then went to with regards to and tying it with regards to Brother Greg, with regards to people used to have something called a fall tonic or a spring tonic, and that would be sassafras for some people. They're gonna clean them out. They're gonna clean them out. And if they didn't use sassafras, some people use pine tar. Use pine tar. And some other people use turpentine, like Brad Greg, like like where does turpentine come from? It comes from pine trees, and they would use turpentine and honey. Again, part of tradition. And one of the things that Brother Fraser threw out there, that again, that sometimes is protein poisoning that's also going on with regards to when we're looking at these allergens, and we're looking at regards to from the milk to the egg, with regards to a variety of items. And see what I knew that this was going to be power packed, chock full of information, and I can't even get into some of the other stuff I wanted to deal with because I got Brad Greg and Sister CT, and I'm gonna throw it out there right now. Y'all gonna be back for a part 2 with regards to, even though our time is winding down, but there's so much other stuff we need to be getting into also. And I need y'all to come back on Run Tell That, and I ain't talking about 5 months later. I'm talking in the month of March. I'm gonna need to have y'all back again so we can continue with regards to this right here, because it is crucial and important with regards to us. And you all mentioned some things with regards to, again, we're not giving medical advice. We're not giving medical advice. What are some of the things that you all will help with the totality of people in with regards to building up their immune system and fighting and defending the immune system, defending the body against what we deal with COVID right now? What are some of the things that you have with regards to that? Some of the other herbs and plants that you think that are crucial with regards to what we're dealing with?
Well, Jamal, there is a plant that's very common.
Right, great. We're gonna let Sister CT go first. Then we go to you.
One of the first things I would say is abstain from eating. No food. Drink water. Rest. No toxins, no candles burning, no lotions and perfumes on the skin, just detoxification, allowing the body to heal itself. Because I believe that my body can heal itself once the proper conditions are there, giving my body time to rest and fight off toxins and poisons that may have been introduced to my system. No food at all, just rest, sunshine, water.
What about having soups, having broth with regards to that?
Well, for a while, nothing at all. But if you're trying to break a fast, you may want to introduce some of that. But I'm talking about totally allowing my system to fight for itself. And I've done it before. And thanks to Brother Frazier, he taught me, he walked me through a fast, and I was able to get off of chemicals because I found out that my body did not have a deficiency of chemicals, but I did have a deficiency of nutrients. And it was time for me to detoxify my body by fasting.
Okay. All right. Dry Greg.
Yeah. As Sister Seti was saying, I remember growing up, there would be times when I would tell my body to get rid of something in my body, and within the week, it's gone. I could tell myself I wanted to lose 10 pounds. And 2 to 3 days later, I get on the scale and I'm 10 pounds lighter. So we do have that ability. I won't say we have, our body has that ability to heal itself. But once again, this is something that we have lost. And we have to go back into there, not spiritually, and get our mind together. Now, changing subjects just a wee bit. Growing up, there was a plant that's very common in the Gullah community, that's very common in those people, our ancestors who was enslaved elsewhere. This particular plant grows from Texas to
Yep.
Pennsylvania. This particular plant is very unique in that it has three names: life everlasting, life everlasting, and the common name, rabbit tobacco. No, the rabbits did not smoke it. Some of the larger plants, the rabbits would hide by it. So that's where that name came from. In the culture, and I'm talking about the Gullah culture, when you steep this and made this into a tea, if you drank it straight, it is said it's like drinking it barefoot.
Right.
Because if you take the leaves and crush the leaves up and smell it, that's exactly what it tastes like. Ideally, your honey, your lemon, your lime is the way to go with it. What is unique about this plant? Flower, stem, leaves, roots, all of that can be used. There's nothing of this plant that you cannot use. You make it into a tea for colds. You make it into a tea for indigestion. You take the leaves. You can roll up the leaves. You can take those leaves and put on a tooth for a toothache. You can take those same leaves. Now, a lot of well, I'll put it this way, I won't say ours. My mother's first cigarette was rabbit tobacco and a brown paper bag. When you snuck to do that, you ran behind the barn and you smoked. Because if you got caught, your butt was going to be the same color as the tip of that cigarette. But
Yeah.
rabbit tobacco can also be smoked for asthma.
Right.
So once again, there are plants that are provided for us, and that's what they were put there for, so we can learn to keep our bodies healthy. When you can't have the discipline, as Sister Seti was saying, and go that route, and where you have to use other things, there are herbs that you can use to keep your body healthy. They are provided for that reason. Rabbit tobacco is a very common one that we use. And rabbit tobacco, do not go into the woods in the next couple of months looking for rabbit tobacco. Rabbit tobacco is a pure fall plant. Rabbit tobacco does not start coming out of the ground until late August, early September. If you have not picked or harvest your rabbit tobacco by the end of December, you got to wait until next year because it is completely dried out. It only has about a 3.5, 4 month cycle, which is a very good herb. The pine tar, you can use the pine tar as a band-aid. And speaking of band-aid, how many of you people have taken a broom and gotten rid of that cobweb in the corner? That's a band-aid. Use the spider web as a band-aid. The honey can be used as a band-aid and as an antibiotic. So, and plus, honey does not go bad. They have taken honey out of King Tut's tomb that is still good.
That's right.
So when it hardens up on you, all you have to do is warm it up and it'll go back to a liquid state. But we have things that will heal us, but we just have to be aware of it.
So I that's why I said I knew. Well, no, I knew I thought we were going to be able to knock everything out. We can't knock everything out. But as soon as I realized that with 5 minutes to have a Bride Greg and Sister CT right here, I said we ain't about to finish this right here because our time is now going to tell that this second right here. This is part one. We're going to do a part two. And Bride Greg threw out there that with regards to life and lasting, it helps women with regards to their menstrual cycle. It helps ease the pain of that. This plan is something major, and that's why I want to next thing we have y'all. We want to get to. I want to get into about the small. I want to get into the I want to get into the first note. I want to get into the fat back and the penny. Fat back and the penny that some people don't think ain't nothing to it, but nurses in South Florida realize that when those folks use fat back and a penny in the 2000s, that it worked. And so I'm gonna say to my sister and to my brother, we were glad to have y'all here. And like I said, next month I'm gonna need to have y'all back on for part two, where we're gonna be delving into more of the cultural aspects with regards to what our people did. CP had to throw up about the colonies, and my head went back like, oh my God. But again, that was a part of what it was. And see, Bride Greg wasn't going to talk about with regards to the life everlasting, about having the honey and the lemon or the lime. But see, he ain't want to throw out there. Also, people going to say, you got to put some gin in it. See, I don't be drinking gin. That's what we're going to get into next time. We're going to get into what occurred. And this stuff is still important because even the stuff that we talk about right here, guess what? Health food stores sell it right now and make money off of it. And to my brother, to my sister, it was an honor and a pleasure to have y'all with us tonight. And we'll let y'all close us out with each one of you giving just a few seconds of some knowledge that people need to have. We start with Sister CT. What's some knowledge people need to have?
I would like for all of us to start taking care of ourselves. Get serious about building the immune system, looking out for your neighbors, your friends, your family. Do take the measures for safety precautions. Realize that COVID-19 is real. We've lost a lot of lives, but we can take some precautions. Let's show our love for each other.
Great.
And spreading that love. There are seniors in the community, our elders. And as the old proverb goes, when an elder passes, a library closes. And with that, not only are there cultural learning that going, but there's also spiritual love and that you don't have anymore, that we can always look out after ourselves. There are some of us right now who are just too stubborn that we know that we're a little bit overweight. And when we're overweight, we're putting a lot of trauma and stress on our bodies that you may need that extra energy if you come down with some of the symptoms of this ailment that's going that you don't have because you're using it to walk around. Food is good, but don't overdo it. Don't become a glutton with it. Anything that you overdo is a glutton, even with food. You can bump. There's such a thing as water intoxication. We cannot live without water, but if you get too much water into your system, you will die. So everything can be done as a glutton. Learn to live. We're not put here to glutton ourselves. We all should have a goal that by the next time, make a goal until we see each other again.
Appreciate you, Bride Greg. Sister Siti, appreciate you all. Glad to have y'all. The next show coming on is, excuse me, it's the Rabble coming on next. And the other, again, appreciate you. Run, tell that. We're going to have y'all again. Peace and blessings to the family. Each and the borough, baby, the borough.
Absolutely.